From attic to basement, we're here for you. It's quality service in all we do. Call Taylor. 500 help.
That's right, Taylor, 500 help. Cold weather is upon us. Were those snowflakes that were flying in Rochester today, or were you just, getting happy for Christmas? I don't know. Call Taylor Heating and Plumbing for all of your home heating, air conditioning, and plumbing needs. They will take care of you. Taylor has a wonderfully talented staff of repairmen. They repair and install all types of furnaces, propane, and natural gas. So schedule an appointment to get that furnace checked, right? Cold weather is here. It's not going away till about June. So you want to make sure that furnace is working. It's Taylor 500 Help. Precision Lawn and Garden, 195 North Avenue in Webster. Kimberly and Justin are your go-to people. You're going to need that snow blower sooner rather than later. They have all your favorite brands. They've got Toro, they've got it all. They've got new in-stock models, used models. They've got snow blowers and blowers and lawn mowers and all the kind of things that you need to make your lawn looks great. And they are professional at Precision Lawn and Garden. They know a thing or two about a thing or two. So go up there and talk to them. Make sure that you're set and ready for winter. It's Precision Lawn and Garden, 195 North Avenue in Webster. Make sure you support our advertisers. They support us here at Kimberly's Revolution. Also, don't forget about Revere Realty, where we help you sell and purchase a home. The rates are great. You want to call out, reach out to us. Tom and I and all of our staff can help you with your home buying or selling purchases.
Slut. Live from the We the People broadcast studio in cloudy, chilly with a little hint of snow. 46-degree Irondequoit, New York. Here's your surface girl. It's Kimberly Ray.
That's me, the surface girl. Of course, Kimberly's Revolution brought to you today, as always, by Revere Realty, where we get it done when it comes to the home selling. We get it done. We get it done. We're still getting it done. And if you think, Kimberly, how are you going to sell houses? You're down in South Carolina, but can be done. And we are doing.
That's why I'm involved.
That's why you're involved. So if you want us to sell your house or help you buy, reach out to us. Tom, what's that phone number?
467-1776.
That's right. Or reach out to us here on Facebook, or you can reach out to us via email. It's kgoodman@revererealty.com. Hey, welcome to the show. Good to see everyone. Of course, my partner in crime is Tom. Tom, just Tom. And he is here.
I'm at your service.
He is always. And of course, Austin, our producer, making it happen on the other end. And there he is. Hello, there's Austin. Hooray. So the whole team is here.
Very busy man, Austin.
He is I throw a lot of stuff at him at the last minute.
And he works a real job now. So,
I know.
On him.
It's tough. So welcome to all the Patriots. If you've not listened to our show, listen today. Love it. Like us on YouTube. Become a member. It's free to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We would appreciate if you would do that. Sue says, love the pink camo shirt. Thank you.
That's pink?
It's pink and camo.
Oh.
Pink and green. So thank you very much. It is a little chilly here in South Carolina, but there's not a cloud in the sky. And it is kind of a weird cold snap for this area, but it's going to heat back up by the weekend. We went to a fall festival in a town called Lincolnton, North Carolina over the weekend. They say it's the largest fall festival in North Carolina. And we had a great time. Great time. Some cute shops. We went into a couple of little breweries. They had all of their stuff out, the crafts. I love arts and crafts at all these fall festivals. And we got a gigantic bag of apples that I made homemade apple crisp with.
What?
Was it yesterday? Yes, I made it yesterday.
Wow.
In the crock pot, I threw in a roast and carrots and potatoes. And then I decided I better do something with these apples because I don't know if we're going to be able to eat all of them before they kind of start going. I hate mushy apples. They have to be crisp and real
Absolutely.
nice. So I made an apple crisp with them yesterday with, ice cream. It was delicious. It
Wow.
was,
So who is this new Kimberlina that you cook now? You
I
bake?
know.
Who knew?
Who knew? I know, exactly. And by the way, thank you for supporting all of our advertisers. We appreciate it. Please, if you're thinking about buying or selling, or if you know someone it is, you direct them our way. We will help you out. And of course, Taylor 500 Help, Taylor Heating and Plumbing, and Precision Lawn and Garden. The name of today's show is Racebaiters, Troublemakers, and Frauds. Oh boy, strap yourself in, guys.
Oh boy.
Strap it in. It's going to be a good one.
My lawnmower shit the bed a couple of days ago, so I gotta make a trek out to Webster and buy a new lawnmower.
Yeah, you do.
I'm not going to Home Depot this time. Can't do it.
Oh, don't do that. Shop
No, I'm
mom
not
and pop,
going
shop
to.
local.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna.
People are asking about where Chad is. I want to just make sure you guys know this. When it has availability, he is going to be joining us on Kimberly's Revolution. Right now, in Chad's life, there's a lot of stuff going on that involves family and work, and there isn't a lot of time to take out to do or prep for Kimberly's Revolution, the show. So I wanted to tell you that he misses doing the podcast, but right now there are other priorities in Chad's life. It has nothing to do with us or our team here at Revere Realty or Kimberly's Revolution. It's just that there are other things that he needs to take a little break from the social media, as you well know.
Yeah, he's completely off social media.
He's kind of outspoken. I don't know if you've noticed that about Chad,
Every
but
once in a while.
eventually, from time to time, it can have an effect on your family. And unless you're used to that, it can take a toll. So we will welcome him when he has time, and when he doesn't, he's working on something else or he's taking care of family matters. And we appreciate him for all the work that he does do and putting it together. All right, so want to get into it? Let's get into racebaiters, frauds, and troublemakers. All right.
All right.
But first, I want to. The election season is coming up, right? And my husband and I, when we, had to go down to the DMV, and we, signed up for. We had to get a driver's license here, and they asked us, "Do you want to register to vote?" And we're like, "Why wouldn't we?" So
Sure.
we've already got our voting cards. We can vote in this upcoming election in South Carolina. There's a woman running for city council that lives right down the road from her. I love her. Her husband's a state trooper, and she is running for city council in this particular town. She's also my hairdresser down here, and I'm going to be able to vote. I'm so excited. So when you hear all the rhetoric about we need to elect people that will change the gun laws, I want you to hear from our mayor, who actually said this in a sentence.
Yeah, shocking.
Actually said this about crime in Rochester,
Yep.
and guns and gun owners. I want you to listen to Mayor Malik Evans.
Illegal gun. Last year in Monroe County, you know how many homicides there were by people who carried legal guns? 0. Zip. Nada.
Wow.
Can I hear that again from
And
Mayor Malik Evans? And I'm just saying, the reason I want you to hear this is because I'm quite positive none of the local media ran with that story. I'm pretty positive that your NBC, your ABC, or your CBS affiliates there in Rochester, New York, did not run with that sound clip from Mayor Malik Evans. So please say that again.
I didn't see Rachel tweet it either.
Illegal gun. Last year in Monroe County, you know how many homicides there were by people who carried legal guns? 0. Zip. Nada.
Rachel can't go 5 minutes without sending a tweet, but I didn't see that one.
You didn't see that tweet from Mary Loopy Loop?
Nope, I didn't see that either.
Or the troublemaker Rachel, or any of the other race baiters that we have out there that do their best to stir up trouble right before an election, right? You didn't see. Everyone was so quiet on that. Why is that? Why is that No one will play that sound clip.
Good for the mayor. Good for the
right?
mayor. I mean, that's why we elected him, for hope there, for change. He seems concerned, and he seems to have his finger on it, but I just don't know how much power he has, Kimberly, you know?
Yeah, I know. I think you're right, Tom. Without a doubt.
Mhm.
But if anyone's familiar with our radio show that I used to have, you guys know that we took certain sound clips and we just played the shit out of them nonstop, right? Don't be stupid. You can't handle.
Fat boy, go, fat boy, go, fat boy.
Fat boy. You know, we would take sound clips like that and we would just continuously play them. If I were on the radio,
Good cracker. Good cracker.
I'm a good cracker. I would take that sound bite and I would absolutely play it till it drove people insane. And by the way, when we were on the radio and we would play those clips, it would drive people to insanity. But I would take that Mayor Malik and I would play that every time there was a shooting in the city, outside the city, in the whatever, because he's right.
Memo to Austin, don't overwrite that one. We're going to need that again.
Yeah,
We're going to need that again. Don't get hi, Sabine. Thinking about Sabine. She is my German friend, and her mother's not well. So we are thinking about you.
So sorry to hear that.
We love you. She's been moved into hospice. So thinking about my friend Sabine. I didn't steal no cheese. Yeah, that was a close.
What else do I got here? I got this one.
You can't handle the truth.
I'm telling you.
You can't handle the
I
truth.
got that one.
I want to hear Mayor Malik one more time before we get into the Racebaiters, the Troublemakers, and the frauds.
Illegal gun. Last year in Monroe County, you know how many homicides there were by people who carried legal guns? 0.
What?
Zip. Nada.
Okay.
Shocking face.
Who's that?
Right.
We're getting close to Christmas time, right?
Right.
Anyway, so there's a story going on.
I got one more here, Kimberlina.
Okay.
I want some crack.
Yeah. Well, who doesn't?
Right.
Who doesn't want some crack? What's going on in Irondequoit? That's where Revere Realty is located, right there at 530 Titus Avenue, and right down the street, of course,
Right.
is the big, town headquarters, right?
This just in, hockey players have a little bit of a temper.
I don't think it has anything to do with hockey players having a temper. I think it's about
They're a little
race
stressed
baiting.
out.
I think it's about race baiting. I think it's about troublemakers. I think it's about frauds. I think it's, and by the way, the police report found nothing.
Not a thing.
Not a thing. The police report, and you're like, okay, so let me just say this, Kimberly, you're just a racist. You just love the police. You're gonna take whatever. I just want to remind everyone that when I was on the radio, we talked about every color. It didn't matter, and 99% of that color, generally happened to be white. And I'll just remind you that we didn't care if you were a state senator or if you were a chief of police or if you were a police officer. If you were doing wrong, we pointed you out. I don't know if you remember State Senator Alisi. Do you remember him?
I do, yeah.
He went into a house that was under construction that was already purchased. Remember, the front door was locked, the back door was locked. This was not a house that was up for sale, mind you. And Senator Jim Alisi went into that house, he said, because he needed to check it out for a friend, and he had a hoochie mama with him, right? Some little side piece. And he went in through a basement window of this house that was up for construction, and he felt, I don't know what they were doing, but it was late at night. What in the hell could you see in a house under construction at 6:30 at night? And I think it was like in November with the side piece, right? And he goes in and he's climbing down a ladder. Again, there are no steps. It's under construction, and he falls and he breaks his leg. And you know what he does?
He sues them.
Sues
Right.
the homeowner and the construction contractors.
Right.
You might remember Police Chief Merritt Ron, Chad Ron, Piggy Pignotto, Nick Joseph, the bad cop that they finally got rid of from the Rochester Police Department that liked to beat his wife and beat people he arrested too. We've talked about all those things. So, all right, race has nothing to do with the story that is going on in Irondequoit. What is going on in Irondequoit is nothing but a money grab. It is nothing but a money grab. And for the Racebaiters and the Troublemakers to get out in front of the cameras for no particular reason, except for to get their face on TV. Rachel Barnhart, Loopy Loopian, that backup team player that they have, you know who I'm talking about, the backup team player that was part of the trifecta, you know who she is. I can't think of a bigger troublemaker than that person, right? So you have all three of those standing there with Patrina Freeman, who says that during a town board meeting, of which apparently was quite heated, there's Patrina, looks like a very nice lady. Looks like a very nice lady that calls herself a Christian and an ethical person on her Twitter page, right? Not at all. Not at all. There was a heated conversation at the town board, and the Irondequoit town supervisor, Rory Fitzpatrick, apparently was a little angry, got up and walked out of the board meeting and slammed a door that had a hinge, by the way, that was a slow close. She maintains, Patrina Freeman, described the incident and said it was a series, the latest in a series of escalating incidents of harassment, intimidation, and mistreatment. And she says when she got up to follow Rory Fitzpatrick out of the town board meeting, he slammed the door on her, fracturing her wrist. This happened at a town board meeting on September 20th.
A door that automatically closes.
Ugh. The police report.
That's a heavy door, by the way. I know the door they're talking about. I've been there many times.
Can it be slammed on your hand?
I guess if you put enough force on it, you may be able to pull it harder, as then the automatic close will dictate. But I don't know. I mean, that's the whole point of the automatic close, right? Is so that it won't slam.
Right.
Especially in a room that is soundproofed, and they don't want people walking in and out, slamming doors in there. There's people in and out. So
she says
it's fishy there, right?
That her right wrist was in a cast as she addressed a gathering of reporters with her trifecta of crazy behind her, the Racebaiter, the Troublemaker, and the fraud. You pick which one is which. I'm not really going to, that's not really my job to point out which one of those is the Racebaiter, the Troublemaker, or the fraud.
That's just because you're a surface girl.
I don't want to get into their personality, the ladies that were backing up Miss Patrina Freeman. But I'm just going to say, you know what they are. We've seen the
election season.
It's election season. Let's hear from Miss Patrina Freeman herself in the press conference.
All right.
The board went into executive session to discuss a sensitive matter. At that time, I requested information that as a sitting town board member, duly elected by the people of this town, I had the right to ask for. At that point, Roy Fitzpatrick got aggressive.
She said that.
He pushed his chair from the table and walked in the direction of the door. Once behind where I was sitting, he threatened me by saying, "Be careful." Shocked by the threat, I asked, "What do I have to be careful for?" The motion was called to adjourn by Deputy Supervisor John Predicone. Mr. Fitzpatrick remained in the room until the motion was approved. Supervisor Fitzpatrick stormed out of the conference room with me right behind him as I was sitting the nearest to the door. The supervisor got to the door first, opened it forcefully, walked through, and then slammed the door on me, effectively hitting my hand and fracturing my wrist.
I want to see the x-rays. I want to see the x-rays. And by the way, when Irondequoit police were called on the matter, because she did file a police report, not a witness, not one single witness backed up what she said right there. And just because you get up out of your chair and push it back does not mean you're doing so aggressively, right? That doesn't mean you're using toxic masculinity. That just means you've had enough of the bullshit conversation in the room and you're out of there. And whatever that they were talking about, that he told her to be careful. If he did, if he didn't, I don't know what the conversation was. I don't know what was being alleged or what the sensitive matter was being spoken about at this closed door session, but it must have been for a reason, right? What we know is the police report, and after talking to witnesses, nothing of what she said was substantiated. She, of course, has filed a notice of claim and is suing for $1 million.
$1 million.
That is correct.
Well,
One
if her wrist
million.
is truly broken, and my guess is it probably is, then wrists are, hopefully it heals. Hopefully it heals very nicely for her.
I have broken.
To have a messed up wrist for the rest of their life.
I broke my wrist.
You did?
When I was in college in
I used to think I
cheerleading.
had a broken wrist in high school, but it wasn't because my wrist was broken.
Yeah. I broke my wrist, and it happened when I was in college cheerleading, and I used my hand to stop a fall. No, I was up in the air, and I fell out of a mount in college, and so I used my hand to try to break the fall, and it busted my wrist. And believe me, you would know it, right? You wouldn't wait till the next day to go to the doctor. If your wrist was fractured, you would probably go that night, right? She waited till the next day to go to the doctor and to call an attorney.
Well, isn't
right?
your wrist kind of like your foot? Doesn't it have like a whole bunch of bones in there? And maybe you can get a little hairline fracture in a tiny little bone. I mean, I'm not a doctor and I don't play one on TV, but
Yeah.
but you could get little stress fractures, can't you? Maybe she already had a stress fracture.
That's what I'm talking about. I have no idea. But she did file a police report with the Irondequoit Police Department, which conducted an investigation, and the statement said, and I quote, after interviewing witnesses and reviewing video recordings.
Video recordings. Interesting.
The police department determined there was no evidence to substantiate that claim.
Well, as a tax-paying citizen for the town of Irondequoit, I hope she gets paid big. No,
right?
Probably not.
But she has lawyered up, and she is now trying to make something out of nothing.
Sure, why not? Everybody else does.
Yeah, at the expense of the Irondequoit taxpayers. Videos don't lie. I mean, Stryker says videos don't lie. Videos don't lie.
This just did. Hot off the presses. Video does not lie.
It doesn't. The thing with Senator Alisi, when he decided to sue, was there was no camera of him entering that house and falling down. And, the absurdity of the claim is almost as absurd as this woman here, who wants to get paid $1 million. The investigator did note that the door has a self-closing door hinge, making it difficult to slam shut. And the video doesn't show that situation. I mean, there's no indication on video that she had been injured at all. No further action will be taken. Patrina Freeman was first elected to the town board in 2019 and is the first Black woman to serve on the Irondequoit town board. And so now here we are, filing a notice of claim.
Good luck getting reelected after you sued the people that vote for you. Of course, when she loses the next time out, it'll be because of racism, right?
Maybe she'll join the PAB. Oh no, half of those people are gone, right? I mean, because
what a mess that turned out
they've
to
been
be.
fired, they've been, whatever.
Administrative paid leave.
Right. The claim says that since taking office, Patrina Freeman has experienced, it's like a long list of side effects from medicine, right? Illegal discrimination, a hostile work environment, illegal retaliation. She is seeking $1 million in compensatory damages. Okay.
Yeah, well.
Are we serious here? Is this what we do? We try to get on, you got
to get what you can get, Kimberlina. Obama taught us that. You got to get what's coming to you.
Rory Fitzpatrick, the town supervisor, who is accused of slamming the door and fracturing Ms. Freeman's wrist, began his first term as the Irondequoit supervisor just this year. He is known for his professional hockey career. He played for the Amerks and he played for the Sabres, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Before he got elected, he was in the studio. He was on a Jose show.
Yeah, he's been here.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, he seems like a super nice guy to me.
The fact of the matter is, this wouldn't matter what color Patrina was or what color Rory Fitzpatrick was. It boils down to what didn't happen. And someone trying to take advantage of Irondequoit taxpayers for their own financial benefit. It's criminal. And if she goes through with this lawsuit, with whatever ridiculous attorney she's, hitched her wagon to, I would say that there should be some kind of something that she has to repay. If this goes to court, there should be, and obviously if it's found to be frivolous lawsuit and thrown out, which hopefully it will be, there should be some type of reparations.
Well, there'll be a GoFraudMe account for that, right?
That she'll have to pay or have to step down from her position. I mean, it'd be one thing if it actually happened, Miss Freeman, but I think we know it did not.
Well, we'll see how it all plays out.
And I again, the video doesn't lie, and the witnesses that were there, I mean, they were there. Why would they lie? If it happened, it happened, right? I mean, you can't.
Right, hips don't lie.
Yeah, right, exactly. So, racebaiters, troublemakers, and frauds.
Which one of those am I?
You're just Tom.
Oh, okay.
But I would say to people, stop doing your best to stir the pot and causing issues when there is no issue. Eventually, it's going to come back to bite you in the ass. And I'm saying this, to those people that try to make something out of nothing. I don't understand it, and for the life of me, I don't understand why they want to do that. Or stood up behind this woman just to get their faces on TV. It's interesting that TV stations ran with this, but they didn't run with what Malik Evans had to say about illegal guns were involved in 0 homicides in the city. They didn't run that.
Last year in Monroe County, you know how many homicides there were by people who carried legal guns? 0. Zip, nada.
On a similar kind of path here, what's your quick assessment? You think Devontae Adams should be suspended for pushing that reporter/photographer after the game against the Chiefs last week?
Again, video doesn't lie. He did it.
He did it. Yeah.
It wasn't just a little push. Devontae Adams pushed that photographer or sound guy,
Right.
and it was a big push.
He's suing the Chiefs. So that's kind of similar here. She's suing the town and he's suing the Chiefs.
Well, with Patrina Freeman, it's manifesting false allegations. Stop it. And by the way, it's ask. A-S-K. Please, if you're going to say that you're a professional, smart, ethical woman, says it on your Twitter, I'm not making it up, says it right there, you might learn to speak properly, okay? It's not ax, it's I asked him. It's probably a good idea if you're going to portray yourself as a professional woman to learn how to speak properly.
We all knew what she was saying, Kimberlina. We all knew what she was saying.
No, that just blew my mind. I thought Fitzpatrick was defending himself from an axe. I was like, what?
Yeah.
He did nothing wrong.
I asked him, and I'm like, well, I'm sorry. You what?
We all have pronunciation deficiencies, Kimberlina. That's fine.
Okay. Okay.
From somebody like myself who tends to mess up a few words here or there, that's, more than acceptable.
Let's talk about Brittany Drexel for a second and on a little bit. Raymond Moody was in court today in South Carolina, and this was played live. Raymond Moody is the man who pleaded guilty to the murder, the kidnapping, and the rape of Brittany Drexel in April of 2009. After Brittany Drexel went unbeknownst to her parents with friends to Myrtle Beach for spring break. Her remains were discovered May 2022, just this year, after Raymond Moody agreed to take investigators to where her remains were buried. Here's what's crazy to me. A family member of Raymond Moody, who again pleaded guilty today during his first court appearance in front of a judge since he was arrested earlier this year, a family member in January of 2011 called Myrtle Beach police and said, you might want to check in to Raymond Moody because he has quite a lengthy history going back to the early 1980s in California of doing this same thing. He spent 21 years in prison for the 1983 abduction and rape case of a 9-year-old California girl and was considered a suspect in a slew of similar rapes, but was never charged. So fast forward to Myrtle Beach, April 2009, and Brittany Drexel was going between two hotels back and forth with some friends because she and some of her girlfriends were having arguments about what color shorts, who was wearing what, and Brittany had a pair of shorts on that another girl wanted to wear, and so she was running the shorts back to a friend. And that's when, according to Raymond Moody, he and his then girlfriend, this Angel Voss, saw Brittany Drexel on the sidewalk, stopped to ask if she wanted to party, like that would ever happen. I mean, have you seen him? Right? You're gonna get in the car with him and this scum-looking lady and you're gonna go party? No. They kidnapped her, but according to documents, he told investigators that they stopped, asked her if she wanted to go smoke some dope and drink. She agreed, got in the car with them, or it was a Ford Explorer, I think, a gray Ford Explorer with dark gray trim, gets in the Ford Explorer, and Brittany Drexel is never heard from again. They go to this campsite where the girlfriend of this Raymond Moody leaves the campsite. He then rapes and, Brittany Drexel. She fights back, tooth and nail. He kills her and wraps her up in a blanket and puts her in the woods. And according to the girlfriend comes back and says, "Where's the girl we picked up?" And he said, "Oh, she came to get her friends." Now, whether any of that is true, I have no idea, and we'll never know because Brittany Drexel isn't alive to tell the story. But that whole case finally came out in May of this year, and he was arrested. He pleaded guilty. He'll probably spend the rest of his life in prison. It's too bad they just can't hang him from a town square someplace.
Absolutely.
Because obviously, yeah, someone saying his story is ludicrous. She would have never, yeah, and I agree, Carol, that Brittany Drexel did not get in that Ford Explorer willingly. They grabbed her.
Whoa.
I mean, so, and that's my question. Where's the girlfriend? I tried looking for her. I couldn't find an Angel Voss, V-A-U-S-E. So I don't know. She was a nurse when this happened. A nurse, like at a doctor's office or a hospital. That's, yeah. Angel Voss, Angela, I think is where, someone found her on LinkedIn. I'd love to have her on the show. That would be great. But he was driving a 1998 Ford Explorer and basically said, "Hey, this is what happened. She wanted to party. She was down for the whole thing and then changed her mind." That is not the story. But the good thing about it is that the Drexel family, and God bless Chad Drexel and Dawn, I can tell you when I was doing the morning show, we were probably the first people to talk to Chad and Dawn Drexel. We had them on the air with us. They were beside themselves. If you see the people sitting behind Raymond Moody, those are the relatives of a guy by the last name of Taylor who was wrongfully accused of Brittany Drexel's murder. I think the guy was named Timothy Taylor, and law enforcement had been on him for a long time for the crime. But family members of Timothy Taylor, who I think is currently in prison for another crime, showed up because they wanted to prove that sometimes, law enforcement are wrong. And they did go after Timothy Taylor and his family for a long time. And the story was that he was running some kind of a trap house where they would sex traffic girls. And when Brittany tried to escape from that trap house, they fed her to alligators in the pond out back. That whole story wasn't true at all. I think the story was told by some guy in prison who wanted to get out early and was making that statement in order to do so. And I think the prosecutor today said, "Hey, I mean, there were mistakes that we made," and he owned that. It was about an hour press conference. I thought it was very fascinating. If you get a chance to watch the hour press conference, it's pretty interesting. Hey,
I think my mic turned into some kind of Darth Vader here.
What's that?
Did you hear that sound? Have you?
My mic did?
Oh, mine.
No, I think you were coming out of her computer speaker and then picking up on her.
Gotcha. Okay, well, we're better now. Go ahead.
Oh, we're better now. Okay. So that's the update. Brittany's birth father, I believe, was John. He was there too, but didn't speak. Must have given up the rights to Chad. I don't know. I've only known Chad Drexel as her father. So I didn't know that there was a birth father involved. I never knew that. What happened to Ms. Voss? I think she was granted immunity based on her coming forward with the entire story. They sent her in, investigators, to wear a wire to have a conversation with Raymond Moody about Brittany Drexel. And that's how I think all this came to pass. But pretty interesting. And we appreciate everyone listening and watching Kimberly's Revolution. We are on YouTube. Please make sure that you share our videos, subscribe to our YouTube channel. It is absolutely free. And make sure you give us a like or tell us something that you like about the show, or maybe what you don't like or what we could do better. We always appreciate that. Have you ever been to a drag show, just Tom?
No, but I wouldn't be opposed to going.
A drag show?
Why not?
Would you take
I've been to Key West a few times and almost, but not quite.
Would you take your 9-year-old daughter to a drag show?
Of course not.
and this has been going on. This isn't the first of these kind of stories where children have been exposed to this kind of nonsense.
Right.
There's a viral video. I don't know if you guys have seen this. It is a Texas drag queen show performed at a restaurant in Plano, Texas. It is billed as an all ages drag show. I'm not even kidding. An all ages drag show.
So even
Now,
old guys like me could go.
when I think of a drag show, I certainly, and we've seen pictures and we have been exposed to video where there are drag queens reading at libraries to children's group. This is basically the indoctrination to the perversion of our children from the liberal left. This 100% trying to confuse children about their sexuality, about who they are. It is pushing them into sex at too early an age. And it is the most ridiculous thing. So this was an all ages drag show that took place at Ebb and Flow restaurant. And it's called the Garden of Eden drag show brunch. They were doing brunch and there were other kids there. I just want you to see the video of this drag queen and what she's doing in front of this little girl and the mother. I don't know who her mother is or who are the mothers that bring their kids to an all ages drag show, but check this video out. Look at that little girl.
Wow.
I can't even.
Can't even.
Where is Child Protective Services in Texas? Why hasn't that kid been taken away from whatever stupid mother took her to that drag show? Again, this is what the liberal left is pushing on our children. Whoever thinks that taking a baby to a drag show is the right thing to do is out of their freaking mind. Out of their mind, 100%. This should never have happened. This restaurant should be shut down. Ebb and Flow in Plano, Texas. Ridiculous.
Yeah, if you're of age, you know, hey, do whatever the hell you want with your time. But I mean, bringing babies to this, I mean, we've certainly crossed the line here. I mean, what the hell are we thinking?
I mean, that song was catchy, but not for a kid.
There was one girl in the background. Play that again. There was one girl in the background that seemed kind of disgusted by the whole thing. But for the most part, they seem to be enjoying it.
Oh my God.
I mean, those are teenagers, right? Those girls.
One little girl is what, maybe 6?
Yeah, she's watching intently.
Yeah, you don't think this obviously has some impact on the mind of a 6-year-old? What she's watching there is pornographic. And that song, Pussy Good, Pussy Sweet? What the hell? She's pulling up her skirt. The little girl is there. People are throwing dollar bills. They subjected children to this at an all ages drag show. And there are individuals that think that this is okay.
The lack of morals that's going on in this country and in the world is disgusting.
It is disgusting. It is 100% disgusting. And so you can find that on Twitter. I mean, it's been retweeted thousands of times, right? I just can't imagine anyone thinking it's a good idea. And if you don't think that pornography on a young brain like that does things and has an impact, it absolutely does. But they're pushing these kids into, hey, question your sexuality, question if you're a boy or a girl. I mean, they're pushing them, and just let them be kids. But this is what the liberal left is doing. It's a decline of civilization, really. I mean, in a nutshell, isn't it?
I was looking on Twitter, and somebody posted that their doctor asked their like 6-year-old girl, their pediatrician, if they were a boy or a girl or something like that.
Time to switch fucking doctors immediately. If they're still going, yeah.
I mean, we all go to the doctor for our yearly physical, or at least you should, as a public service announcement to everybody. But your doctor does ask you some pretty awkward questions, but at the same time, it's like we're asking a 6-year-old, hey, you're obviously a girl, but are you sure you're a girl? I mean,
yeah, making them question everything about who they think they are as children.
Yeah.
There's this one TikTok, and I can't think of it. The little boy is a dancer. It's a little boy, but the mother has all obviously pushed this kid into a gay mentality. I mean, this kid is maybe 5 or 6, and is he a great dancer? He's got some talent, but she had him next to the old gays, teaching them a dance, and it's this kind of stuff that I just don't get. I don't get it at all.
Yeah, I thought it was all genetics is how you were born, and it seems to be now, as the movement moves down the road here, that more and more people are being infected by environment and not necessarily how they were born.
Yeah.
And I think,
nature versus nurture, right?
And I think eventually what we're going to find out, it may take 20 years, but eventually what we're going to find out, especially with the trans population, is this indoctrination at such a young age. When these kids are getting to be in their 20s, there's going to be a lot of regret that's going to happen here, that they lost their childhood because their parents were a bunch of idiots and their teachers they
completely
had. And I feel bad for these kids because they really never had a chance.
No,
the way that they've been indoctrinated.
100%.
Yeah.
Before we get to the end of the show today of Kimberly's Revolution, I want to, if you're a criminal going out and committing crimes, criminal activity, it's a risk, right? When you say to yourself, I think today I'll go rob the Home Depot, or I think today I'm going to walk into Tom's house and I'm going to try to take whatever Tom has. I don't know what he has in his house. I don't know what's in Tom's house. What's in Tom's house that I would want to steal? I don't know.
I have a sign in my front door that says, it doesn't say beware of owner. It doesn't say beware of the dog. It just says my wife's Italian. That's all it needs to say.
So say I'm a criminal and I'm setting out to, and I have 2 reasons to do this story. It happened in Oklahoma. You may or may not have seen this story. But one, the way the media portrays these guys, which
I did see this, yes.
Hilarious to me. And second, basically, what these guys were up to, and it led ultimately to their death. So these guys are in Oklahoma. And let's show these guys. They're not exactly fine, upstanding men. Look at these guys. Okay.
There's only 2 things from Oklahoma, Kimberlina.
That's inappropriate, Tom. That quote.
I didn't say it.
2 things in Oklahoma. Here are these guys. The media has labeled them as cyclists. They were out for a bicycle ride. Okay, now No, and the media calls them cyclists. When I think of cyclists, I think of who was that guy that was the big time cyclist? Who was, you know, that he who?
The guy that was on drugs.
Yeah.
He had
Neil
cancer.
Armstrong.
Neil Armstrong. No, he was the guy in the moon.
Oh, Lance Armstrong.
Lance Armstrong.
Sorry.
Ah,
Boy, just,
whatever. It's close enough.
COVID brain.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So so when I think of a cyclist,
Yeah,
I think about
they're wearing the cute little bicycle shorts and the the
and
water bottle
helmet.
Yeah,
They're in the Tour de France. They're like Lance Armstrong kind of people. These guys are not cyclists. These boys were not out for a nice bike ride. They didn't have baskets on the front of their, like I have a little yellow bike, which I love, and it's got a little basket on the front of it. Let me just read you how this reads from CNN. A convicted felon wanted for questioning over the grisly deaths of 4 dismembered Oklahoma cyclists has been arrested in Florida. So they arrested this guy. So here's what these guys were out to do. Billy, Mark, whatever the other one's name is. I can't see.
Mike and something
Mike
else.
and I don't know, whatever his name is. And Alex, maybe. They were going out to a scrapyard owned by this guy, Joe Kennedy, and they were going to rob him. In fact, here is the Oklahoma police chief in this area talking about what these idiots were up to that night.
Interesting.
Based on information obtained during the course of the investigation, we believe the men planned to commit some type of criminal act when they left the residence on West 6th Street. That belief is based on information supplied by a witness who reports they were invited to go with the men to, quote unquote, hit a lick big enough for all of them.
Okay, there we go. And I've never heard that quote before. That must be like a criminal quote, hit a lick, that was big enough for all of them. So basically, they took out on bicycles to go to this scrapyard to steal from this guy who owned the scrapyard.
Did they at least have like 10 speeds, or were they like riding a Huffy with a banana seat?
You've seen the people in the city, right, doing that? The bodies of Mark Chastain, 32, Billy Chastain, brothers, 30, Mike Sparks, 32, and Alex Stevens, 29, were found shot and dismembered. Here's the risk you take, guys, when you decide you're going to go out and commit crimes.
Hit a lick.
You may or may not come back.
You want to go hit a lick, Kimberly?
I don't even know what that is. I've never heard that phrase.
I think they were just cycling like their hero, Louis Armstrong.
Exactly.
Louis Armstrong. They were going to go hit.
Armstrongs can you name here?
Hit a lick.
Yes.
Billy Armstrong, Green Day.
Stretch.
Mythical character.
Yeah. So you're really taking your life in your own hands, because of course they had, and I did see this morning, they had one of the relatives of one of these brothers on saying that, of course, the standard, they were good guys. They weren't out to do any harm. But when you set out to steal from someone and you get caught in the act.
Oh, well.
I mean, they got kind of what was coming to them, didn't they? I mean, they go into the guy's property, so he shoots and kills him. I don't feel bad. Am I horrible? I don't feel bad about it. I say 4 less criminals in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't take the law in your own hands, but I mean, that's what sometimes happens. All right. Do you have anything? That's all I got.
I got a couple things if you don't mind.
We just have a second. Hit a lick. I know. I don't even know what that is, Carol.
Hit a lick. Just a quick real estate moment here. The Revere Realty 1 minute segment. The June to September data is out. Everybody's been talking about people moving in or moving out like you did. The June to September data of people leaving Rochester or coming to Rochester. It was interesting to me. And the fact, do you know that that the most people that generally migrate to and from Rochester are from Buffalo? That people move from Rochester to Buffalo probably for employment, and they're sick of driving on the thruway and maybe with gas. But 260 people moved from Buffalo to Rochester, and 222 people moved from Rochester to Buffalo. So it's pretty much a wash there. But
why move? Just traverse the
with the
throughway.
price of gas and the tolls on the thruway, maybe it made more sense for people to buy a house and move locally. But most of the people of, pretty much common sense here, most of the people that have moved to Rochester from the big cities have been from the West Coast, LA, San Jose, Seattle, the West Coast. People have moved here. Obviously, the lower property values and the work from home environment, they get a pretty good buy on a house. And the people that are leaving Rochester, the majority of them are moving to Florida. So, but on average in this poll that was done, that 76% of potential home buyers in the Rochester area plan on staying in Rochester. But 24%, which to me seemed high, 24% of the people that are looking to move or buy a house, so to speak, are looking out of state, which to me, that seems like that's be higher than what you would normally expect.
Yeah.
So a lot of people moving in and out with this new work from home environment. And one last, do you have that? I have this thing, as we do these little memes. Okay, Kimberly, what is this? Oh, we lost it.
Hold on.
There it is. What is that?
The bird?
It's not a bird. If you see the caption, if you see a bird, you're drunk. What else? What else could it be?
It's a bird.
No, that's a cat looking upwards. Can you see the cat in there?
Not at all.
It's other eyes, right? There.
If you look for the cat, you could see a cat looking upwards. And lastly, they're testing this new app.
I'm monumentally drunk.
I can see the cat. You can't see the cat, Kimberly?
I cannot see the cat.
They're testing this new
no one can see the cat. No, I know. Even Stryker goes, "Oh, that's not a cat."
They're testing this new social media app, which is going to be the new rage coming out. They're testing it in the Midwest, which means, your Illinois and your Ohio's.
It's Illinois. There's no S on the end of Illinois. Oh my Lord.
And your Wisconsins and your Ohioans. And this is called GAS, G-A-S. And 500,000 downloads to this app. And what it is designed to be is a safe place to interact with friends.
Is that what Facebook is?
There's no messaging between users. Okay. And the whole thing is based on polls. Now, where are we going with this? The whole thing is about interaction with teenagers through completing polls. So now you're just thinking of this as just a giant big data research. This app is going to funnel all these polls of teenagers into their computer bases to determine the next 10, 20 years of, things that's going to happen to this country. So this app, this GAS app, which is only now in 5 states, but 500,000 downloads in the last couple weeks or a month. So this is going to be a big thing. And it's going to be interesting to see how all this data gets collected and used against everybody, because that's all it does, right?
That's all it does. Yeah. Richard says, "Hey, Kimberly, you need to do radio along with real estate." Well, Richard, if you want to call one of the heads of one of the companies, and
if anybody would like to pay Kimberlina north of $100,000 a year to do radio, she'd be more than happy to.
I'd be more than well north of $100,000. Yeah. Yeah, Richard, that'd be nice, but I don't think anyone's, bouncing around looking to hire me. But anyway, nonetheless, I'm having fun doing what I'm doing with Just Tom. And I love it because it frees up my time to do real estate, which is the other thing that we do on the side. So again, we're a team here at Revere Realty, along with Kimberly's Revolution. And if you're buying or selling, drop us a line. We're more than welcome. Any business that you want to throw our way. So we appreciate that. All right, that's going to do it.
Even if you want me to come out and check out your house, I'll bring a cooler and we'll hang out for a little while.
Yeah,
No.
Striker, I know I need a mic. We're going to get a mic. I'm going to get a mic this weekend. I swear to God.
Freaking Best Buy and get a mic, will you?
I'm getting a mic. I'm going to get it. All right, that's going to do it for Kimberly's Revolution. We appreciate you. Tell a friend about us. Share the video, and that's going to do it. As always,
God bless. Be kind to others. Oh.